Hey guys, this is Henry from OBEDIA and PC Audio Labs again. Today we're going to keep working on our video tutorials on Cubase. And on today's tutorial, we're going to learn how to configure your studio setup window for audio recording purposes in Cubase. So, here we go. So let's say you're going to start recording audio, okay? It is very important that you set up the studio setup window properly, because that's gonna help you in making the audio recording experience way smoother. Okay, you don't want to just open the Cubase and just create the track and start tracking, because it doesn't work that way. There's a lot of things from here that are going to help you, so you want to make sure that that's properly set. So here we go. We go to studio setup. And we're going to go here to where it says audio system. The first thing is your ASIO driver, okay? There's a list here. If this says no driver, you want to look for the proper driver for your current sound card or audio interface. Right now we're using the Revelator, so you want to make sure that you're in Revelator IO. If for some reason what you have here does not match your audio interface, it's not going to work. Either you're not going to get audio, or it's going to be problematic. Okay, so you want to make sure that this is properly set. If for some reason you do not see the driver associated to your interface in here, maybe it's because you don't have them downloaded. So you want to go to your interface's website, download a driver, install it, restart Cubase, and it should appear here. Once again, you want to check the proper audio driver, okay? Now, there's an option here that says release driver when application is in background. Honestly, I do not like having that checked. I like it unchecked, because I'm not trying to release the driver when the application is in background, because it's never going to be in background, because I'm intentionally using it to record. So I'm not going to be recording and then switching to another app while I'm tracking. That's not going to happen. So just leave it that way. Here is the input latency and the output latency. As you can see, you can't just type anything there. And the reason is because your input and output latency are directly associated to your buffer size or your block size. And where do you change that? Well, you typically change that from your actual driver, okay? Your interface, your sound card might have some kind of driver software where you can change that. In our case, we're going to use universal control. That's where we can change or modify the properties of our Revelator in this case. And here's our block size. So as a general rule of thumb, if you're recording audio, you want to have low block sizes. Let's say 64. If you're going to be mixing, you want to have higher block sizes. Block size and buffer size are interchangeable. And the reason is, when you're mixing, you want to have a larger buffer so you can process your plugins, your inserts, and things like that. But when you're recording, you want it lower, because lower is going to give you a smaller latency. So when you record, if you're let's say you're doing like an electric guitar, you strum, right? You press the string. You don't want to press the string and then wait for a little bit and then listen to it. That's going to sound really strange. You just can't record with latency. It's weird. So you want to make sure that it kind of sounds like real time. It's not really real time. There is some latency, but it's just so small that it's not noticeable. So if we switch this from, right now it's 512, if we switch it to 64, check what happens here with the input latency. 4 milliseconds. Honestly, 4 milliseconds, you're not going to hear it. You're going to feel like you're pretty much monitoring the input. It's going to sound like real time, okay? Your sample rate, once again, that is depending on how you created the project. But you do want to make sure that whatever you created project is the same as what you have on the actual interface. If the record format of the project, in this case 44.1, does not match the sample rate of your interface, you're going to have trouble when recording. You're going to hear clicks and pops and all kinds of digital nuances, okay? So just make sure that that matches. You could have a processing precision of 32-bit float. That's a default, or you could do 64. I think 32 it's enough. Multi-processing and ASIO guard, I typically leave those two on, and I think that's how they come default. My ASIO guard level, I leave it at normal, and that's about it. You can, once you have that audio system properly set, you have another option below. It'll show the name of your actual hardware, in this case a revelator. And here we can see things like, I/O, make sure that your inputs, in this case is mic 1 and 2, they're visible, they're active, so everything looks good there. Once again, the input latency that you see here is the same that you see here. So that's line up. And that's about it for the setup, okay? You could externally clock for the clock source, but you don't have to mess with that right now. I'm not using any other like digital pieces of gear. If for some reason you have more than one piece of gear, you're going to need to make sure that one of them is the clock or the master and the other ones are clocked from it. I guess you could say they serve as slaves clockwise. But once again, if it's only one interface, what's going to happen is that interface will be the clock. So it's going to be clocking internal. You have another option here like audio priority. I just leave that default. Disk preload, that's also default. Volume automation, record shift, that's all default. So you can press OK. And now you are ready to record. Now you can create your tracks and start recording procedure. So that's how you set up your studio setup window in Cubase for audio recording purposes. If you have any other questions, please call us from OBEDIA and PC Audio Labs and we'll be happy to help you. We will see you soon. Bye-bye.
Want to learn how to produce music using this, or using that, or using all of these? Have you been watching videos, reading manuals, blogs, and trying to figure out everything that it takes to be a music producer? Do you have a bunch of music gear that you purchased and you still haven't made any music? Well, then you need OBEDIA, the world's only one-on-one digital audio training and tech support service. Check out the link below for a special new subscriber offer.